Can really snag a finger, because if they come up to try to touch the rim or get a rebound, the finger really can get caught up in these things, and they can really hurt something. All right, so let's try to get rid of the chains and let's get these nets up here. Hello, welcome to another episode of Extreme School Makeovers. This is Ragnar Powell Jr., your neighborhood hero. All right, we're in a different setting today. It's been raining the last couple of days, so we brought it all inside today. Okay, so this video today, if you hadn't noticed, the last couple of videos that I've been putting out has been a breakdown of one school. So we went ahead and hit the front of the school, we hit the side of the school. I showed you all, what the back, the playground and stuff and those steps look like. So we came back, did the steps. Now this week we're going to the big playground area and clear some, overgrown weeds off the fence line. It was, trash, embedded down in there, the overgrown grass that's along the fence line. We're going to clear that off. And the plus of it all is that the county came in and they, put wood chips down. Okay. So it's nice and fresh and it's not, all messed up like it was when I previously showed you in the last video. So it's a plus, but it just needed a little bit of fine tuning around the edges. And I know the fall is approaching and things are, like weeds and things are starting to die out. But with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and get that stuff out the way just to make sure when the kids go out there and play, they're not brushing up against, the weeds and stuff like that, and making sure it's, like poison ivy or anything like that. Mainly, it looks like that's along the fence or like Virginia creepers and things of that nature. But just wanted to make sure because I don't want the kids, rubbing up against that stuff and stuff break out and they get to touching one another and it's just like a mass poison ivy breakout or a mass rash breakout. Okay. So, we just came in, did that. And then next week, there's another section of the school that we'll go ahead and take care of. And I think that might, complete this school that we're doing. And then I will show you a whole overhaul of, what we did, in one video to the whole school. Okay. All right. So, with some before and after photos and things of that nature. And then we'll move on to another school. Work never stops, huh? But hey, when you love what you do, you really don't consider it work. You just enjoy what you do. Okay. So with that being said, I'm not going to hold you long because I know you're dying to get into this video and see what a great transformation this is about to be. All right. So I know you had time this week. Grab your cold cut grapes and your cherry Coke Slurpee. I'll see you in a minute. Love you. When you love what you do, it's not even really work. Love you. This particular thing will use a lot of weed whacker string, as you're about to see. Back to work. All right, if you notice, I'm trying to get on the other side. I'm using the weed whacker to try to get on the other side to get it as clear as possible, because once the springtime or the remainder of fall, nothing will be able to creep up through here without having to spray any type of chemicals or something like that. So I'm trying to do my best I can to get the other side. All right, just bear with me a little bit. We're gonna get it right. All right, love you. told you we go through cord doing this. All right, I'll be right back. Let me get some more cord. See you in a minute. One thing I wanted to say, all right? This is something that we really got to get rid of on these playgrounds, by these kids, and they can really hurt, you know, snag a hand or a finger or whatever the case may be, is the chains on these rims. Okay, I see they got new rims and backboards that are pretty fairly new, but the chains on the rims, yeah, that can really danger a finger or a hand. So we got to get nets so the kids don't, because you know they always trying to touch the rim or trying to dunk or see if they could touch the net or something like that. That can really mess up a finger or a hand, trust me, I know. Let me show you. So these can really snag a finger, because if they come up to try to touch the rim or get a rebound, the finger really can get caught up in these things, and they can really hurt something. All right, so let's try to get rid of the chains and let's get these nets up here. All right, let me get this weed wax string. All right, I'm back so I can get back to work. Look like it's about to rain out here. All right, love you. All right, we back.
lot of trash, wasn't it?
That's it. That's all. Okay. Now that we went ahead and took care of that fence line, I think the kids are okay to go out there and get their play on. It'll be free. It'll be clear. They got fresh wood chips. They just got a fence line to protect them from, anything trying to come in and things of that nature. They don't have to worry about all that debris and everything just feeling like, things are closing in on. Everything now is bright and open. Okay? And that's why we want these schools. We want these schools as bright and vibrant and open as possible and manicured so everybody can have the best experience while either going there to teach or going there to learn. Okay? So with that being said, I'll see everyone next week. Same time, 7:30, Sunday. While you resting on your day of rest, pop in Extreme School Makeovers and tell a couple friends about it. Okay? So if you don't mind, I'm grateful that you stayed, this long and watched the entire video. But just, give me a few more, minutes to show you these before and afters. Okay? Give me a few minutes to show you these before and afters because the transformation was great. All right? So I'll see you all next week. Love you.